Male hobbies typically take them outside of the home during the daytime during caretaking hours. Female hobbies often revolve around the schedules of their partner and their children and account for the domestic labor that they are handling and any kind of mental load that they carry. The big difference that I've noticed is that men are able to find time to do hobbies that take them outside of the house during the day, like golf, hunting, rock climbing, training for a marathon. All of those things are incredibly long activities and they take you outside of the house during caretaking hours because they typically cannot be done at night. Whereas women who take on more traditional hobbies like gardening, painting, reading in a book club, even, socializing with friends, because that is a common hobby of women, is just to be with other women. Those things can be done in short periods of time, even yoga, right? Like I love yoga, but I go to yoga for an hour and I typically do it before my kids are awake or when they're in bed, not at 2 p.m. on a Saturday for 4 hours. So, we are able to and required to typically work our hobbies around the schedules of our families, whereas men's hobbies take them away from that. And the reason they're able to do that is because when men get married, they gain free time and women lose free time in heteronormative relationships because they take on the unpaid labor and mental load at home. And with kids, male...
Oh my God, somebody please stop this lady. This is her whole stick on Instagram, and I'm sick of running into her. It's always some goofy shit. Listen, am I going to say she's 100% wrong? No, because obviously from family to family, that differs, right? Like how many people are even getting married today? But what she said here is just a bunch of pulled together selective bullshit. Like she just picked the very specific things that would make her argument glow and just ran with that. Like the golfing. Most men don't golf. Most men's hobbies aren't like golf where you absolutely have to be by yourself. Hunting. How often is that's not done every Saturday? That's done like once a year. And most men that I've heard of who hunt, they will take their kids they'll take their sons with them. I've never heard of a dude taking his daughters with them, but they will take their sons with them. So it's not like they're just totally leaving the bomb with the fucking just kids nonstop. And that's kind of, I'm sure, what this is supposed to say. And then that last line, I'm gonna have to go through all this again to remember all this goofy shit. Then it's only part one. Oh my God, it's only part one. So when she said men gain free time after getting married and women lose free time, that I think that's pretty clear that she's trying to say that, oh, men just kind of dump their shit on their wives when they get married, and then women kind of just take up the slack or blah blah blah. It's like, what era are you living in? And again, ladies, we're sick of y'all taking the very selected a group of men and making that all of men. We are sick and tired of you all making it the worst of us in whatever situation be the example for all of us. It's tiring. And when you do that, you're telling me you are going to, ironically, dump someone else's shit on me. And it's like, I lose all types of empathy for anything you have to say. Any complaint you might have. Because you are gaslighting me and other dudes. Like, stop doing that. Stop. And yet again, real quick detour. How many times has it been noted and told to you that, hey, maybe if these complaints are this close to heart with y'all, maybe pick the dude instead of for fun and shit. Maybe pick for practicality of I really just want help or this or that, right? As opposed to fun. Start doing that, and then maybe you will see results. Also, book clubs, how many women are in book clubs? How many women are in book clubs? I can't think of a woman who was ever in a book club or her mentioning she was in a book club.
they take you outside of the house during caretaking hours because they typically cannot be done at night. Whereas
Training for a marathon, running, you don't see people jogging at night. People actually train for marathon. They only train for the day. So do these guys not have jobs? Is that what you're telling? They don't have jobs. These married men don't have jobs. So let me guess. Not only do these married men have hobbies and they dump all this shit on their wives, they're also jobless regularly. All right, let's hear more.
work out to find time to do hobbies that take them outside of the house during the day, like golf, hunting, rock climbing, training for a
Rock climbing, rock climbing. Listen, if you marry a guy who refuses to take, okay, I'm assuming we're talking about indoor rock climbing because no fucking way you married a guy who just in the middle of the week drives to the canyons, wherever the hell the rock climbing is done, and rock climbs like that. No, I refuse to believe you did that and really, like, seriously. I refuse to. I'm not going there. I'm going to assume you mean indoor rock climbing. You know what can be done with indoor rock climbing? You take your children. Now, I don't know how many men also feel this way because I think I'm in the minority of either side that feels this way. If you're talking about when you have newborns in the house, that's a lot of restriction on that couple, both of them. And I think that they should act like that, both of them. Your hobbies and your fun, to me, needs to kind of take a step back until, for the next handful of years, until like you have like that situation, meaning the extreme. I'll just call it extreme child rearing, where you got a handful of let's say 3 or 4 kids under the age of like 6 or something like that, and now you have to it's just a lot of focus that you have to do with children of that age. So to me, it's not even a guy thing. It's a parental thing that at that age. So I'm always in these examples that she's giving. The reason I'm saying this is I'm always going to assume that the kids can be taken with you. All right, so let's go.
and I typically do it before my kids are awake or when they're
Yoga, man. When I go to the gym and I see cycling classes, yoga classes, exercising, or anything like that in that nature, there are also women there. It's not just men at the gym I go to. This new pickleball crap they got on the court, I see a lot of women there. And they're not just the young hotties either. Mothers, wives, they're also there. I see dudes come there. Now, they're typically, it seems like they're either divorced or never married, but I see dudes there all the time with their children, male, boy or girl. So where do you get this from? This lady in her quote unquote experiences or what she sees, I never see it. Well, I won't say never, but I don't really see how she comes up with the collective that she does. Whereas, I understand, I'm not going to ask people to be balanced like that one guy. She wants to take the stance of where the females suffer in situations. That's fine. But when you just come up with just straight up bullshit to push your point, and it's basically a lie, I have to call a cap on it. I have to. Because this here is nonsense. This is garbage. Men typically have hobbies, and we're talking specifically married men have hobbies that take time away from the family. And this is just a regular thing. You don't meet a bunch of dudes that say, nah, I can't. Or I gotta do it. Well, when that chick Pearl when she said, oh, men who asked their wives like ill, how many dudes stepped up and said, I mean, well, you gotta ask. You gotta check in with the person. You gotta make sure this and that, blah, blah, blah. So we're not gonna give credit to that, tolerate it, focus, nothing. No, not at all, right? We're just going to do the focus on the bad guys who are the minority of us. Unless you, of course, want to say they're the majority. I again, you're full of shit. I really, this stuff like this is why you can never, ever have an actual conversation about these things about how to make it better. Mostly because she's lying. But let's look at a couple of comments. I gotta go to the gym in a second. Ironically, I don't want to spend too much time here, so I'm only gonna read like maybe 4 or 5, maybe. Also think about stereotypical women's hobbies like sewing, crocheting, knitting, cooking, baking, crafts, or even shopping. They're all practical and serve the family. Okay, shopping is only practical when you do it in a budget. Y'all asses are on the internet all the time complaining about being with a man in which you have to have a budget. So I'm not giving you credit for that one. Baking, cooking. Y'all regularly tell us that's not for y'all. That's for us, right? I'm not giving you credit for that. Crafts. Stop it. I understand crafts itself is kind of like a woman thing, but most of y'all asses don't do crafts. Y'all don't do fucking crafts. Y'all don't draw. Y'all don't paint. Y'all don't do. Most of y'all don't do that. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Stop. Y'all gotta stop taking things that can be mostly assigned to one side and then going, oh, and that side mostly does it. Like, stop. That's not the same thing. You're lying. You're lying. You are lying when you say that. You are lying when you do that. Suing, really? You want to sell suing? I'm just going to assume you live in a country and all the women you know sue to bring up suing. How many of y'all, what percentage of y'all adult women really understand like needles and threads and shit? Come on, yo. Just like just like most of us aren't good at like mechanics, cars, and house building, because that came up earlier today. Y'all ass can't sew. Crocheting and knitting, all those are really the same thing. Stop it. You don't do that. As a man, I have to say that you are absolutely right. Yeah, because he's a. Here's the thing. He agrees, but look at him specifically. He's a diver, a Democrat, a runner, explorer, silversmith. I'm pretty sure this guy is only looking at what he does and maybe his group of friends. But I'm pretty sure it's just him. Men's hobbies are always more important than a woman's hobbies. And that's even if you are allowed to have a hobby, it's not dismissed. Men just generally think that they are more important. Again, there are plenty of guys who are like, ugh, I really, please, I'll, anything. You can literally go pick from those guys. You really, how many incels what percentage of incels do you think that they're more important than you, right? Or, excuse me, I'm pretty sure that they're incels because of that, right? Just by default. Great. How do you have conversations with people who are literally never even possibly wrong? Like potentially. We all want to be right. But when you're not even potentially wrong, where can the conversation go? All right. The final blow, men gain free time and women lose free time when they get married. I'm a widow and I already have a son. So nobody will ever dare ask me if I'm getting married due to my circumstances. Maybe I'll just stay single now. I'll let this be my silver lining. Okay, so here's what's going on with this, right? What she's saying is, I think she's trying to merge two different things, and just I don't fucking know, but I'm pretty sure she's talking about she has a son, so she shouldn't get married, and that somehow is relevant to her losing free time when she got married. What? Oh, all right, sure. Literally just take turns. I get a Saturday to do what I want. Next week is hers. She gets a wide open day, child free to do whatever. I don't get what's so hard about taking turns. Exactly. Again, if you are only marrying for fun, you likely will have these problems. When you don't find when you don't if prioritizing for lack of a better term sharing time, if you don't take that in there before getting married, then you are likely to have this problem. But again, the selfish guy that you might be attracted to will go find, he's going to, like, as you described him, he's going to prioritize him, his time, his efforts, his everything. So he's going to go find somebody to do that. Are you willing to take that L? And I guess as y'all say, you'd literally rather stay single than to be with not that guy, I guess. Holy shit. He got responses, but I'm not going to go look at those. It's 42 of them. Last one. Okay, then men should be going out at night with their friends more often than, right? After the kids are asleep, then the women can have free time for themselves. No. That's a problem for a lot of wives too, right? Stop making something out of nothing. Couples will just figure out a system that works for them. There are a lot of ways to come to agreements that work for both wife and husband. This content is based off nothing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you. God. Like, literally, this lady in her post, just all the time. Remember, I covered her before. Oh, men should know everything about their children's dental. Like, man, I don't even know who my dentist is. I just know some chunky white lady that comes and cleans my teeth when I sit out. I don't know her. I don't know all that shit. When I fill out that stuff, I have to pull the card out, reread the number, because I don't remember. But people like this lady, are always, you cause more problems than you solve. Because all you did was complain enough to tell other women, hey, you're being done wrong, when they probably didn't feel the way before, but now because of you, shit hits the fan now. People like you, talking to this lady, are trash. And the thing is, she's married. Who's telling her that her marriage is bad, or that her marriage sucks, or that her husband sucks? But she's going to get on the internet and dry way tell you yours is. All right. Be right, not positive. I'm out.